Hola mi gente, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Robinhood. I'm going to use my Pixel 6, but this will also work for an iPhone. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name is Sean, and this is We Are Investing, a channel that's dedicated in investing and personal finance. And this is the first video that I'm making regarding how to use Robinhood. This is going to be a video series. I'm going to make a playlist. I'm going to go over how to trade stocks, how to trade options, how to trade spreads, the tips and tricks when it comes to Robinhood. Now, I don't personally use Robinhood anymore, but I started off by using Robinhood. It's not the best brokerage out there. It's nowhere even close to being the best brokerage out there, but it's very simple, it's very easy to use, and it's great for learning and starting off. So if that's you, if you're a beginner, or if you don't need all of the extra stuff and you just like to keep it simple, then maybe Robinhood is the right platform for you. And maybe this video can provide you some value. If it does, then please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, and smashing that like button to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. I really do appreciate it. Now, if you are going to sign up with Robinhood, I recommend you use the referral link that I'm providing down below in the video description, or you ask one of your friends, because you don't want to miss out on free money, and it also helps support the channel, so I do appreciate it. If you use the referral link that I'm providing down below in the video description, you will get 3 fractional shares from Robinhood. For every referral, and you can have this as well, when you sign up, you can ask your friends to sign up and you will get 3 fractional shares. It's up to $200 in value. So this is a nice promotion that Robinhood is giving you, because typically before you would just get one stock, and it's typically a shitty and it's typically not one of the best stocks. Because you're getting fractional shares, you might get some of the better companies out there, and if you hold on to them, they might actually make you money in the long run. Now, this is the home screen for Robinhood. In the home screen, you're going to see your account balance. You can take a look at what your account has done over the last day, over the last week, over the last month, over the last 3 months, over the last year, and all time. You can see today, my account right now is at $3,453.94. It's up 1.5% today, and all time, it's up 123.94%. Now, I don't still use Robinhood, but I do have a position that I'm not closing out. I kept open in Robinhood. I don't check it. It kind of just does what it does. I'm not really interested in selling out of this position. I don't want to pay taxes on it, and I just want to hold this position long term. That position, and comment down below if you agree or disagree, because this is a very controversial cryptocurrency. But I have 23,000 Dogecoin. And if I click on that, you can see my position is up 18.3%. I have 23,000. My average cost is around 12.5 cents. But anyways, heading back to the home screen, if you go continue down, scrolling down, you can go to your list, and this is essentially just a watch list, and it's super easy to create a new one. All you do is create new list. You're going to name it. We'll just do test. We'll create. And then you can just start adding tickers. Let's say I wanted to add Apple, I can add Apple. Let's say I wanted to add Uber, I can add Uber. Let's say I wanted to add Palantir, I can add Palantir. SoFi, whatever stock, you just type in the ticker symbol or the name of the company, it should come up, and you just hit plus. Going back, now you can see that I have that list. So it's a quick way to look at the companies that you're interested in, that you don't have positions in, but you want to get into a position, or you're just tracking it to see where it goes. Heading back to the home screen, that basically wraps it up. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how to search for a stock. I'll also go over some of the information, the data that Robinhood has within the application that you can use to help research a company and a stock. So to start searching for stocks, you're just going to hit that magnifying glass on the bottom, and you're going to type in a company. We'll look at Apple. So we'll click on Apple, and now it's going to give us the chart for that company. It's real easy to see what the current stock price is, what the stock has done over the last week, the last month, the last year, the last 5 years. These are the only charts Robinhood has on the platform. You can't take a look to see what the company has done all time, the last 10 years, the last 3 years, and you're really limited to these lines, or if you hit the bars on the right, you can have a bar chart, but it's real limited in its charting. This is for rookies. It's not going to be overcomplicated. You're not going to have all the additional studies and trends and all of the other stuff that you can have in different brokerages. But if we head back to the line, which is the most common, what you can do here is you can click on the screen and you can drag it and it'll tell you the total returns. For instance, what we're looking at right now is March 20th of 2020. In the last 5 years at that date, this stock is up 72.36%. But if we go all the way to the end, it's up 417.26%. Apple, without a doubt, has been a tremendous winner over the last 5 years. So that's about the extent of the charting you're going to see. You're basically just going to be clicking and dragging to find what the stock price is at a given time. You're going to be switching through all of these charts, trying to find some trends, trying to find supports and resistance, but you're going to be very limited in your capabilities. Also, you have to realize that every single day you have a high and a low, which isn't shown in Robinhood. For instance, if we go to the 1 year chart for Apple and we go to a date, August 2nd, we're going to see a price of $145.52. That might be where the stock closed that day, but on that day, it might have had a low of $135, or it might have had a high of $165. This doesn't really matter here, but when you're looking at support and resistance, you want to make sure that you're getting either the high or the low, which you can't do in Robinhood. So if you're really concerned about getting in at the best price, you're probably not going to be able to get in at the best price, but you're going to be close enough. So if you're a long-term investing or longer swing trades, it's not a big deal. But if you're day trading, it's a little bit more important. Moving on, there's an About section, which will give you information regarding the company. It will tell you what the CEO is or who the CEO is. It will give you information about the location of the headquarters, when the company was founded, and the amount of employees they have. The stats, this is quite important also when looking at stocks. You're going to see what the open is, what today's high is, what today's low is. You will have that information for the day, but like I said, you're not going to have that information for days in the past. You're going to have the 52-week high, the 52-week low. That's essentially the yearly high and the yearly low. You're going to have the current volume, the average volume, the market cap, the PE ratio, and the dividend yield. Dividend yield is extremely important if you're looking for dividend stocks, and the PE ratio is also important when you're comparing other companies and you're looking at valuation. It's probably the most common metric that's used for profitable companies. So it's nice that Robinhood gives you that information right there in front of you, so at least you have that to go off of. Scrolling down, you will have some recent news. Now, this is going to be recent news, but it's not going to be all of the news. If you subscribe to a company like Benzinga, you're going to get way more news alerts for a particular stock. If you have Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade, you're going to have way more news. But you are going to get some news regarding a particular stock, but it's not going to be as frequent and as quick as other brokerages. But again, if you're new to this and you're just investing, it's not the end of the world not to get all of that news right when it's released. Scrolling down, you're going to have analyst ratings. There are 44 analyst ratings for Apple. 77.3% say it's a buy. And then you'll see what some bulls say, what some bears say. Scrolling down even further, you're going to get some of the earnings. You're going to get EPS, and if the company beat or missed versus expected. So the light green is a beat on EPS, and it would be red if they missed. And then the darker green is what the estimates were. And then some other information, related list, people also own. And that about wraps it up for how to look at a stock on Robinhood. Now I'm going to go over some of the important stuff, how to buy and sell a stock on Robinhood. I'm not going to talk about options on this video, but I will upload a video on how to trade options in Robinhood, and I'll add it to the playlist when that gets created. It's probably going to be my next video, so it will come out later this week. Now to get started, to buy a stock, it's really easy. All you do is hit trade and then you're going to hit buy. Now there are many options. There are many ways to buy a stock in Robinhood. One of the most common ways, and what you're seeing here, is to buy whole shares at market price. This is essentially you buying a share at the price that it is right now. I would not recommend buying anything with market price. Always do a limit order, which will cap how much you spend for a particular stock. God forbid you put in a market order right when a stock is going parabolic and you end up paying way more than you originally thought. And it's real simple to change it to a market order. All you're going to do is hit shares up top. And instead of a market order, you're going to do a conditional order, which is a limit order. And Robinhood will give you a nice depiction of what this is. So if you hit continue, all you have to do is hit your limit price. So Apple right now is trading at $171.99. The market is closed right now, so that is not changing. What I can do is I can set my limit order to that market order, hit continue, and then you get another option here. Market hours only from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, or extended hours 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You select what you want and then you hit continue. Now set time in force. You can have this order end at tomorrow, at the end of tomorrow, if you don't want it to continue to the next day, or you can do good till canceled. Essentially, this order will remain open until you cancel it or it gets filled. We'll do 4 p.m. tomorrow. We'll hit continue. Now, how many shares? We'll say one share. We'll hit review, and I don't have enough buying power because I don't have any money in Robinhood. It's all tied in. It's all tied up with the investment that I have in Dogecoin. But you'll be able to review this and send the order if you have the buying power available. Now going back to some other options that are available, if you hit trade, if you hit buy, and you go back to shares, you can see what we have here. You can buy in dollars. So essentially, instead of buying a whole share, you can set the amount of money that you're willing to pay and you'll get fractional shares. So if Apple's around $180, but you don't have $180 to spend, you can just do $100 and you'll get a fractional share of Apple. You can also do reoccurring investments. So let's say that every single week you want to put in $10 into Apple. You just want a dollar cost average, which is a great strategy for long-term investing. You hit that reoccurring investments, you can select every market day, every week, every 2 weeks, every month. You can hit continue, your bank account will come up, you can link it to your bank account, and then you can have it set up where you're buying $10 worth of Apple every single week. It's as easy as that. Now, the other orders for buying that are available on Robinhood, I never use. I never use a stop order, a stop limit order, or a trailing stop order for buying. But sometimes I use them for selling, and we'll get into that next. So in order to sell a stock, you have to actually own it. You can't short in Robinhood. Shorting is when you sell a stock that you don't actually have and then you have to buy it back later. You have to cover your short. So for me to sell a stock, I need to go back to the home screen. I need to select SNDL. I need to hit trade, and then I need to select sell. Now here we'll talk about how to sell a stock. Now, just like buying, you can do shares, you can sell in dollars or sell in shares. We're going to keep it in sell in shares. Now, I don't want to do a market order. This is not something that I want to do. Again, I highly do not recommend you do market orders. I recommend that you do limit orders at least. But let's go over some of the selling orders that are available to us and how we can use them. So if SNDL right now is trading at 62 cents, I can set a stop order. And essentially what this is going to do is going to trigger a stop loss if SNDL drops below a certain price, and then it's going to execute a market order. For example, if SNDL right now is 62 cents, if SNDL drops below 60 cents, I want to sell. I'm going to put that as my stop order. I'm going to hit continue, and I'm going to have that till 4 p.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to do one share, and then I'm going to swipe up if I agree. So I'll swipe up, I'll submit that order, and then I'll hit done, and now my order is complete to stop out of SNDL at 60 cents at with a market order when that occurs. Now there's a few things that you need to understand with stop losses. One, they do not trigger an extended hours. It's only market hours. Also, you have to be very careful with a stop order. Because you have it set up with a market order, if you have this good to cancel or you do not watch this, there can be a situation where SNDL drops to 30 cents the next day. The market opens, my order is triggered, and then I sell SNDL for half, for 30 cents. I probably don't want to do that. I probably want to wait for SNDL to bounce and sell it at a higher price. So that order might not be the best if I am not watching the market. So I definitely do not recommend having that good till cancel, because you can get stopped out very quickly and end up selling your share for way less than you could if you just held on for a little bit longer and waited for it to rebound. Heading back to the sells, if we click on the sell, there are more orders out there. The orders are a limit order, which essentially, if SNDL is at 62 cents right now, and I have a price target of 75 cents, when it hits 75 cents, I can sell at a market order. This essentially is if a stock is going up and you can't watch the stock closely, you can set this order at a price that you're willing to sell the stock at. And if it continues going up and hits that price target, you'll stop out. You'll end up selling your position and locking in your gains, which is a good thing. So that is a order that I do like to use if you don't have time to continue to watch a stock. Now, better than the stop order is the stop limit order. So if we click on that, I'm going to explain this a little bit in detail. So like the stop order, which if SNDL dropped to 60 cents, we activate a market order. This is going to activate a limit order. So let's say that SNDL was to go to 60 cents. So that is my stop price, 60 cents. Next, how low am I willing to sell this? Well, I can give myself some buffer. I can say 55 cents. So if SNDL drops below 60 cents, look to sell it for at least 55 cents. If it drops below 55 cents, this order will not get filled. So I'm not going to end up selling a stock for way less than it's worth, in my opinion. I can then wait for the stock to rebound to at least 55 cents and then sell it at that point, which I do like that idea. So I'll hit continue. I'll hit to 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'll hit one share. I'll hit review, and then I'll swipe up. That's how you can sell a stock. There's one other way, which is a good way as well. So if we go back to shares, now I have no sellable shares. So I have to cancel a order. I'm going to cancel that stop sell. So if I cancel that order, then I can go back to view SNDL. I can go to trade. I can go to sell. I can go to shares. And now I want to sell with a trailing stop order. This is a very unique way of selling a stock. A trailing stop order, if we hit continue, you can see that you can either do a trail percentage or a trail amount. Essentially, if we have a trail percentage of 5%, if SNDL was to drop more than 5% from the high, it would sell. If we did a trail amount and did 25 cents, if SNDL was to drop 25 cents from the high, it will sell. The reason why this is unique and very beneficial to some is because if a stock continues to go higher, if you have a trail loss set at a percentage, well, the price that you're willing to sell a stock for continues to get higher and higher. As the stock goes higher, so does your stop order. So essentially, you're just along for the ride, and once the stock actually starts to sell off, and you see at least a 5% or whatever percentage you put or dollar amount, then your sell order is activated. So this is a great way to ride momentum in the stock. And if you have a lot of gains and you just want to get out, but you still think there's gas left in the stock and it can continue higher, you can do a trailing stop loss, and that way you're still along for the ride. You don't have to worry about it. Now that pretty much wraps it up on how to buy or sell a stock in Robinhood. The last thing that I want to talk about is messages. So when you submit an order, you will get a message In that message, you can then quickly change your order, you can cancel your order, you can modify your order. It's through your messages where you're going to be able to quickly see what orders you have in place, which ones are active and what not. So the message screen is very important, and you're probably going to be in this screen quite often if you are an active trader in Robinhood. Now, with all that being said, if you have any questions regarding Robinhood or any video topics that you think will be useful, let me know in the comment section down below. And like I alluded to in the beginning of this video, Robinhood is good for beginners. It's an easy way to start dabbling in the stock market. There are no fees to trade stocks or options as well, so you're not going to get hammered with fees to start out. And it makes it easier to learn how to trade stocks and options. Another great thing with Robinhood is fractional shares and reoccurring investments. Being able to buy companies like Amazon, if you don't have enough money to buy a whole share of over $3,000 worth, you can buy fractional shares. So it doesn't prevent you from investing in some companies that you like because the share price is too high. Share price is irrelevant of valuation. It's all about market cap. And there are some stocks that don't have a ton of shares out there, but the shares trade at a high price. So it makes it very difficult for some retail investors to get into them. Robinhood giving you fractional shares and reoccurring investments makes it easy to invest in these companies and dollar cost average, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, simplicity, ease of use is what makes Robinhood so good, but it lacks in so many other things once you gain more knowledge and you become better at investing and trading in the stock market. The extended hours are not the best out there. You're not going to be able to trade in all of the market's extended hours. So you'll miss out on some trades because you won't be able to buy or sell stocks on Robinhood. You can also not do conditional orders like you can on Thinkorswim, where you can set up price above the current share price that you want to sell out and lock in gains. And you can also set a price where you want to stop out if the stock was to fall, all within one order. Those conditional orders are awesome in Thinkorswim if you just want to do everything in one order and protect yourself to the upside and downside. Another thing that you cannot do in Robinhood is you cannot set alerts. And this is a huge thing that I think they need to work on. In other brokerages, in Thinkorswim or Webull, you can set an alert where essentially you will get a text once a stock hits a certain price so that you can then reevaluate the situation to see if right now is a good time. You don't want to just put a bunch of good to cancel orders out there and then have them triggered, because the stock could fall to a price target that you think it's good, but the situation could have changed. It could be off of horrible news. And then if you have a good till cancel order out there, you end up buying the stock. So being able to set alerts and just be notified is huge, and Robinhood does not provide that. Another thing that Robinhood lacks is the charts are extremely basic. You're not going to see studies like the RSI or the MACD. You're not going to be able to draw trend lines. You're not going to see custom timeframes. You're limited to what they have on the platform right there, and it's very basic. So you're probably not going to be able to do any good technical analysis on Robinhood. But all in all, if you're new to investing, Robinhood is an easy way to start. It's not overcomplicated, it's super easy to use, and the most important thing is that you just get exposure. So if going to another brokerage is just way over your head, you don't even know where to begin, then start with Robinhood, learn, get better, and then consider moving on to a different brokerage. That's my recommendation, at least. Now, if you like this video, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and smash that like button. Also, do not forget about that referral link to Robinhood where you can get 3 fractional shares of a blue chip company. And also, this channel does have a Patreon. It's $5 a month. You'll be able to see what stocks I'm buying and selling. You'll be able to see what stocks other members of the community are buying and selling. There's over 500 members. You'll be able to get access to valuation spreadsheets, to meetups, and much more. The link to the Patreon is down below, and it's $5 a month. Other than that, I'll catch you all in the next video. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And this is We Are Investing, and together we are invincible. See ya.